Sometimes the first step to changing our life is just admitting to ourselves that we need it to change. This might be uncomfortable, this might be scary, this might even be heartbreaking, but once we admit to ourselves that we need change, we open ourselves up to the possibility of living a fulfilling life that we love. So get comfy and join me with Nikki Oden today as we chat about how to start changing your life at the very, very beginning.
I had a moment where I was like, I want more. And I had to admit that I wanted to get divorced. I was married to somebody else before I met my husband. And that was one of those things where I was like, I don't know what to do. What should I do? I don't know. But what I did know. But saying it out loud was like, it was completely soul crushing. It felt like a huge failure to admit it. And it felt impossible. I mean, it felt like, no, I'm like, how could I get divorced? And like, that's not ever something that I was ever planning to do. Like, who plans to get divorced? But it was very difficult to make that admission out loud. And then once I did, and I realized how right it felt, that we were wrong for each other. We shouldn't have gotten married. We didn't bring out the best in each other. There was an entire life that opened up for me. And I met my husband. We've been married for 11 years. We have 2 children. We're completely in love. Like, I mean, people will roll their eyes at me, but it's true, And I would never have experienced that kind of love and joy had I not been honest with myself about what was holding me back, about what I really wanted. Now, I'm not saying that everyone's solution is to get divorced, but I'm saying sometimes it's gonna be something like that, like something drastic where maybe you need to change careers, or maybe there's a couple of friends in your life who are toxic and are weighing you down, and you might need to distance yourself for a little while. Maybe it's you need to take a course to better yourself, and that seems scary and weird and something nobody in your family would ever be okay with you doing, and like woo, but whatever it is, you know that you need to make a change. And so admitting it is, again, talking about what you want is always the first step, I think.
And I love that idea. And yeah, I mean, divorce is a very good way to illustrate it. But the fact is that what you want and what you need might be something that you've never conceived before. Like, I know for myself that now that I have my own business and I do my own thing, it makes perfect sense. And all the indicators have always been there that this was what I was meant to be doing. But that is just not a concept that was part of my upbringing and my understanding of what was possible for someone like me. And it was just like, it was never something that I thought about, and I kind of just fell into it in the end and was like, oh my God, this makes so much sense. But it is like, sometimes that thing that you need is something that you never ever would have thought was a possibility, or was a possibility, or even was an idea that was something you'd be interested in. I never thought I'd be interested in this. So it's sometimes that, like, really your beliefs in that moment are completely limiting what would really make you happy. And it's
right,
which one is scary, but 2 is like just something to be mindful of when you think that's just crazy. Like, maybe it isn't. Maybe that's perfect.
Right. Like, we don't know what we don't know, and everything really magical, and that's going to grow us and take us to where we want to be is probably part of our unknown, and it's outside of our comfort zone. Like, me too. I was raised to, like, you go to school, you get a job, you work at the job, and then, like 60, 70, you can retire, and then you can go enjoy your life. Like, that's the way it's done, Nicole, right? Like, that's how I was told. Like, no one in my family was like, yeah, you could start your own business and you can create what you want to experience. What? That was just not a thing.
Was corporate law a passion or a purpose piece for you while you did it?
So I actually always wanted to be an actress. And my parents were like, Mayday, no, red flag, right? No one becomes an actress and succeeds. So they were like, being a lawyer is like acting in a courtroom. And I believed it. I fell for it. And so I pursued it because it was kind of like, I was little when they put that seed in my brain. I just kind of always followed it. and I was good at it.
Yeah.
And I do enjoy speaking in front of people. And I think the skills I acquired as a lawyer have certainly helped me, especially in my business now. But I can't say that I felt that, it wasn't aligned with my purpose. And that's why I was meeting that resistance. I was feeling that stress. And like you said, now it all clicks together. But it's not what I was meant to be doing forever. However, it happened exactly the way it was supposed to, because it gave me some skills and some training that I still use to this day.
Yeah. And I think it's hearing that story that I have a very similar background, and I fell into, in the end, doing project management, financial technology for the big banks in Australia. And it was a great job. It looked great from the outside, like being, people thought it looked fantastic, but and I was good at it. It did align to my skills, and so it made sense. So yeah, you can have that moment where I look successful and this role makes sense because I really, my skills are all there, and sometimes preferences, sometimes not, but it made sense. But yeah, that you now realize that unalignment and the lack of purpose, and yeah, it's all those pieces need to align, So yeah, no regrets, obviously, and you learn so much. The skills you gain, and the journey it's all about the journey. But yeah, that feeling that you speak about where it's just not quite right.
Right, something's off about this, and that's why people get burned out and people are unhappy in their careers or in their relationships or whatever, because there's just like a little bit of a mismatch because we're not listening to what we really want. But a lot of us don't realize that and don't have the training to even be thinking to be in tune with that until much later.
Yeah, and I think you can do your best to do a good job and make sure your relationship good and make sure your kids are okay. You can have this outward focus with all fantastic intention to fix everything. But sometimes we forget that you got to start with what is it that you actually need to, and I mean, that goes back to what we were talking at the very beginning. It's sometimes I think that piece is missed, and I think we're not educated that way. I think we're not brought. I feel like I know that some like younger people today, it's like follow your passion, follow your purpose. Like I hear that. It's like no, I never got that message. It was like go to university, get a good job, earn money, income, security. Like they're the things, and so they're all the things that I did. But so maybe it's different these days, but I think definitely if you're of a certain age and it was all about education and getting a good job, that was what mattered. And it's just not what makes you happy unless you're lucky enough to fall into your purpose work by accident.
Although I would argue that probably you've created it, right? You've made the decisions that are more in alignment with attracting what you want. But I certainly agree with you that it's not a conventional teaching, and it definitely is what I guess most people think keeps society turning, right? Is to have people who want to be employees, and which right there we have to have both, because otherwise there would be nobody to employ anybody. But those of us who are open to walking in alignment with our purpose and are okay with being scared, like we've seen the greatness that comes with that, the joy and the reward. And I want that for everyone. And it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be an entrepreneur, but just whatever that is, that purpose and that pull on your heart, don't ever ignore that.
Yeah. And I think as well to that the thought about the journey too, that my purpose right now is what it is right now is because I went through that experience. And had someone have told me when I was a kid, follow your purpose, I would have been, yeah.
What exactly should I do?
So I definitely think that it's, I think our purpose is shaped by our experience and will continue to change as we experience new things. Like being a mother is obviously a huge piece of your puzzle, and who knows what the next piece of the puzzle might be for you. So I think there's nothing wrong with this way that we've gone down the journey.
No, like you said, no regrets. Exactly the way it was supposed to happen.
Yeah, but yeah, it is that feeling that I try and sometimes express, and I don't know how well I do it, is that feeling from the outside looking in that things might look successful and you might, it might look like everything is fine, but you know that feeling that even if you don't know at that moment what that is, you know that you need more and that something just isn't right. And I put my hand on my chest because I feel like that's where you feel it.
Yeah,
on your shoulders and your chest, you feel a heaviness that's just, and it's that, as you said, that's being out of alignment, and it's listening. It's that, as you said, it's listening to that. And I think if you haven't been taught to listen to that, then it's how would you know? And this is why I like to do things like this.
Yeah.
Listen to that feeling, people. So my last question for you would just be around someone that is feeling stuck. What is your advice to them? What advice would you like to give them?
So my advice would be just to take the first step. Take the first step and a small, tiny step into figuring out what you want. So maybe it's, I don't know, journaling, or maybe it's like sitting down and doing nothing and just kind of meditating. Maybe it's reading a fiction novel and letting your mind kind of escape. And then you put that down and you really are able to like clearly think about what it is that you want. But it's just important to give yourself that attention. That's what you really need to do, is you need to give yourself some attention, because you've been ignoring yourself for so long that it's almost become a habit. Yeah. And sometimes it's hard to break that habit and to really think about, what do I want to do? And I had this experience right before I started Your Ideal Mom Life. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do career-wise anymore. And I just gave myself permission to stop doing a bunch of things and just to quiet all the noise. And it came to me, through writing and reading. And that's why I suggested those things, because they worked for me. Maybe for somebody else, it would be going for like a walk in nature, or going for starting, just to spend time with yourself, so that I could really figure out what it is that I was trying to tell myself.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I'm a walker. Like, I'm a out in nature sort of person.
Nature's powerful.
Yeah.
You really can hear a lot in nature, not just, literally, but figuratively as well.
So my friend, that's it for this week. But tell me, did something in today's chat resonate with you? If so, I'd love you to leave your thoughts in a comment so we can chat about it there. Until next week.